Hey guys, it's April 4th, and we are on my number 2 game of 2015 games played. And Roll for the Galaxy, I am really enamored with, but I've only played it maybe about 6 times. While the next game, number 2, I've also played it maybe only 7 times. I am completely in love with it, and I want to play it all the time. And that is Fief, France 1429. Wow. The fact that this game holds 6 people, and the fact that it feels more like Game of Thrones than Game of Thrones, the board game, is just an amazing game. The board is so tight that you have to make real quick decisions who's going to be your partner, and you need a partner. Or maybe a partner at the beginning, maybe a partner in the middle, maybe a partner at the end. Who knows? Because you can double cross each other. You can murder each other's spouses. It is just, wow. The intrigue, the diplomacy in this game is just phenomenal. And that's just more of like the meta game. The actual pieces on the board, I got the miniatures expansion, so I actually have 3D miniatures on the board for the castles and the strongholds, also the windmills. And so when you have a nice, 1-inch 3D miniature of the windmill, it means a lot more on the board than a little cardboard chit. Also the castles, when you build a stronghold, wow, it's coming out of the board. I haven't even gotten to play all the expansions. I got all 5 with the abbeys and whatnot. So that being said, there is more of the game to play, more replayability. So let's go talk about cost real quick. This is an expensive game. It's around $50, $60. You can spend upward to $100 if you buy all the dudes and dads. You want to go full kit out your game, that's up to you. This is by Academy Games, and this is my first game I've got from Academy Games, and I was blown away so much I went ahead and I kickstarted their Mare Nostromo, I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly, game. Also a remake. Fief is a remake. It's originally a French game, obviously, like the title says, and so I really like how they remake games, and they just make them really tight. Because one of the things that draws me to this game is the intrigue and how tight the board is. In games such as like Risk, I'm playing a Risk Legacy game right now, you have this like wiggle room for the first few turns. And in Fief, now at a lower player count, you're gonna have more wiggle room. But as soon as you have 4 or 5 or 6, I mean, you are just in it from the very, very beginning. And it is just lovely how quickly you're looking across the board from each other and saying, hey, are we friends? Or you're throwing one of the little chits that looks like a bird, a dove, and you say, you, me, outside. And you have 3 minutes just to go say whatever you want, make plans, honor them, not honor them. Wow. Just the fact that it has that in the game is just amazing. Other things. So I talked about the miniatures, the buildings and stuff. Now they also have the warriors or the military units, which are just cardboard chits, little rectangular cardboard chits, which are fine. They serve their purpose. The art is good on them, and they stack up very nicely. It is a little bothersome when you have to count up all your points, so before you roll the die. And yes, this is a war game with dice, so I like dice. It's been a theme here in the list, and this has really cool Fief dice. So you count up your points. For example, if you have a spearman or whatever it is, that's 1 die, and if you have men-at-arms, that's 1 point, and if you have a knight, he's worth 3 points. And you count up your points, and you see how many die you get to roll. So I believe it's 7, you get 2 die, and then 13 points, you get 3 die. Really simple way of doing combat, elegant. You could do it 100 different ways, whatever, but real quick, count up. How many do you have? How many I have? Roll the die, boom, take the damage. Also, at the beginning of every round, people take these black and these white cards. The black cards are going to do negative things for the game board, such as the plague or bad rain, and those are going to be, for example, like global effects, or the really regional effects of the board. And you can cancel these out by playing these silver or white cards. Also, you have the ability when someone throws a silver/white card, when they want to tax their people, that you can throw an uprising card on top of their taxation. Which means that every time you're like, oh, I need to get money to build an army or build a stronghold, and if you throw that tax card, you're looking around, and someone could just, boom, there's a rebellion, roll the die, boom, you lose half your troops. And in a second, in a die roll, all your plans of building a stronghold and building your large army are just dashed, because the people have taken to their pitchforks and killed your nobles and your men-at-arms, and you're just gonna have your hands just shaking in anger at that person, smirking at you, going, ha ha ha. So it really makes you think any action that you're about to do, like, can I do this? Can someone stop me? For example, my last game, this one guy, Rob, one of his sons or daughters was married to another player, and I killed them by playing an uprising card. And then he just threw a chip at me and said, let's go talk outside. We made a plan. I came back in. My friend Luke threw the assassinate card to assassinate the king. I was the king, and then it came all down to a dice roll. If he killed the king, boom, the game would go on longer. If he didn't kill the king, the game would be over at the end of the round. And again, no matter what he rolled, the game was just going to hinge off that. And those kind of moments in games, to me, are just amazing. Now, that being said, the game's long. It's going to take you 3 hours plus. It's an event game. It's something that you plan an afternoon or an evening around. Hey, we're going to play Fief. Learning this game can be a bit intense. I would strongly recommend watching the video they have on Board Game Geek of someone else playing, so you can kind of see how the rules work. Also, things like cavalcades and little rules about finer points on moving and those things definitely need to look up. The rulebook is pretty decent. It has like a 1.1, 1.2 kind of thing, and it has pretty good examples. Also, there's a really nice player aid which tells you how things work, which is really good. At the same time, though, when I went back and played it, had been many months. I just sat there and I felt horrible because we played with the rulebook in my lap because I just had forgotten rules. That being said, Fief France 1429 is an amazing strategy diplomacy game. If this is at all something that sounds good, check it out. That is my number 2 by Academy Games. Thank you. Have a great day, guys. France. Ah! We're going to turn off.